Welcome
to the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 379 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. It's so good to have you here. It's good to be back. It's been, again, last week I was interrupted with a meeting that kind of intersected this time slot. But this week I get to stream again, and I'm very happy about that. I do want us to keep trucking. I want us to move forward, and I don't want to delay. So let me start by sharing my screen. Yeah, it's episode 16th, 2024. October 16th, not episode 16th. Holy smokes, imagine. This is October 16th, 2024, episode 379. And a reminder, no plan survives breakfast. I think I know what I want to do today. I think I know how it's going to go, but it might go wrong. It might go sideways, and that's okay. We're capturing software development in the raw here, where, you get to watch me do what I would normally do at my job, which means that I might get sidelined, distracted, or something could go wrong, and we'll just deal with it as it comes, because that's software development. So nothing that I'm going to write today is pre-planned, and you're going to watch me struggle through it. That's the first thing. Second thing, the agenda that we're looking at is something that you have access to. If you're watching this on Air Mozilla, check out the details section for a link. If you're watching this on YouTube, check out the video description down below. And if you're watching this on Twitch, it's down in the channel description. And as I update the documentation, like I'm about to, this little thing will spin, and then if you reload the agenda... Sorry, if you reload the agenda, that you'll see the links to the agenda. If you reload the agenda, any updates I make to this page should be reflected. Okay, I'm speaking very, very quickly. I'm heavily caffeinated, but I also want us to get moving because I have to end. I have a hard stop at 20 past the hour because I have a meeting at 30 past the hour that I need to prep for, and I'll need the 10 minutes. So I'm going to set an alarm for myself, but we're going to see how far we can get in that time. So starting by setting an alarm for 20 past the hour. Okay, done. 1 hour and 17 minutes. Let's see how we can move forward. I've got the it's the same thing as last time, gang. We're working on this documentation stuff for customizable UI. And let's see where we're at. Let me start by I rebased it onto a fairly recent pull of Mozilla Central. So let's run the linting tool again and just see where we're at. Because I have a feeling there's still a bunch of broken stuff before we can start exporting this stuff with Sphinx.js into some source docs documentation. So let's take a look and see what's broken. I suspect, you know what? It's actually going to already show up for me because I've got VS Code with the inline linting already working. So this is where we are. We're down here, and these red blocks are what we want to fix. There's one down there, a few down here. There's a couple trailing here, but there's a fairly concentrated block of red stuff in here that I need to fix. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with this right here. So this checks what's it complaining about? It's complaining that a widget type is not the right type. Right, that's a string. Widget ID to check. Fine. That's easy. Next, what is busted here? Again, it's types. So a shortcut node is going to be an element. The Zool node where the shortcut will be derived from. Target node, optional. So element or null. And we'll say the Zool node on which the shortcut attribute will be set. If null, the shortcut will be set on shortcut node. Okay, there we go. Again, it's all about types here. A node whose panel should be closed. I realigned the text onto the next line, and I didn't do that. It's a little inconsistent, and I don't think it super matters right now. For longer lines, I think it reads more easily this way, but for short lines like this, I'm okay to keep it on a single line. Hey, Smurfd, good to see you. Good to see you. We're gonna just smash through some of this stuff. Returns Boolean true if a widget is special, false otherwise. Again, this is a string. This is going to be a Boolean. True. Okay. What do we have here? The panel in which, so this is an element, a panel. The panel, again, element, a panel, panel. This is a string, a widget ID, the widget, an area, the ID of an area, string. All right, the ID of the area of which an element is being dragged. This is a DOM window, the window entering customize mode. I'll put a period at the end of that. This is also DOM window. You see, I'm putting them on the next line anyways. It's just like habit. So maybe I'll go through and do the rest of them anyways. The name of the event to send. So that's going to be a string. Details. The details of the event. So that's going to be, what is the definition for details in WebIDL? Details event. Just like events. Or is there something called event.webidl? Details. Seriously? Where does details come from? Maybe custom event? Detail. It's detail. And detail. It's an any. Okay, so that's not very helpful. So we're just going to say this is an object. The details of the event. And it defaults to the empty object. The details of the event. And DOM window. Optional. Null. A window. Null. The window in which to send the event. Okay. Area ID, the ID. Check for overflowableness. Returns a Boolean true. The area is overflowable. We're making great progress. Let's run our linting again. We should be down by quite a bit now. We're moving very, very quickly because these are very easy. We're down to 12, gang. We're down to 12. Look how we're just trucking. DOM element. DOM node we need to check. Returns, okay, a string. Toolbar if the node is in the toolbar. Panel if it's in the menu panel. Palette if it's in the visible customization palette. Undefined otherwise. So string or undefined. In the menu panel. Kind of an odd way of doing things, but okay. String. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to document. I'm like a documentarian. I'm purely here to say what is, not what should be. Although I have been doing some of that, I think a little bit. Document. The menu items to display. So what is menu items going to be? Menu items is, oh, it's an array of DOM elements. The menu, an array, the array of menu items to display. Right? Menu child. Local name. Well, hold on a second. Who calls this? Fill subview for menu items. And what do they pass? Items to display. Yeah, okay. They're actual DOM. This is some DevTools stuff that got added. All right. Some hooks for DevTools. I'm getting lit up on the internet. People are liking some posts I've posted. Okay, not to get distracted. The array of menu items to display, so that's correct. The subview to fill, that's an element. A menu items, and this subview to fill with the menu items. And it returns nothing. I missed the beginning. Are you having fun with the customizable UI? Oh, loads. Loads. Yeah. I'm just trying to document it because this has burned us recently, this module. And despite it being somewhat documented, the documentation is not easy to access. And so I want to improve the documentation. I want to add more of it, but I also want it to be more easily found. I want it to be more up to date. And that's the very beginning of what I hope to be a cleanup of this module. Because I think it's overdue for one. And like there's missing documentation here for some stuff. But that is not what I'm trying to do to start. I just want to fix the JS doc stuff so that we can at least generate documentation for what exists. Okay. Returns a promise. Okay, and this is how we do this. Instead of resolves, which is that returns resolves once the panel is open. This is how you say how a promise resolves, apparently, in JS doc land. What's next? We're almost there. Resolves. Promise resolves with an object. Resolves with an object. The promise resolves an object with the following properties. Now I could expand on that a little bit. Get overflow info. You know what? I might as well. I did this elsewhere. You do a type def basically. Overflow info. Type def. What is this? Overflow info. Object overflow info. Customizable UI overflow info, and that is an object that returns is overflowing, which is a boolean. Is overflowing. Target content width, which is a number, and then total avail width, which is also a number. Oh wait, other way around. Okay, let's document these real quick. This returns one of these. So is overflowing. True if at least one toolbar item has overflowed into an overflow panel. The total number of items within the customization target area of the overflowable toolbar. And then total avail width, the maximum width of the items in the toolbar, the maximum width items in the overflowable toolbar may occupy before causing an overflow. Okay. And so that we return one of these, and then we can get rid of this. And almost there, almost there. Promise undefined solves once moving of items has completed. And then last one, this should be it. Resolve promise. Easy peasy, undefined resolves once any movement of the toolbars has completed. So that should be all of them. Let's run our linting. This should be clear, and then we can start trying to generate our Sphinx.js stuff with this file. That's if we can get that, then we can actually start focusing on improving some of the documentation. You know, we'll be set up to document it nicely. Okay, mark that. I missed the beginning. So can you give advice? I need post-quantum encryption in Firefox. It's for AI I make. Whoa! Slapping together some shiny, it sounds like. Woo! Tell me more. Tell me about why you need post-quantum encryption for the AI that you're making. Freedom DAO. And I presume DAO stands for like whether the cryptocurrency thing, whether distributed autonomous organization. So that's 3 concepts being referred to, smashed together. DAO's post-quantum encryption. No, DAO is Tau, path. Oh, freedom path. Oh, okay. So why doesn't Firefox already have post-quantum encryption? Are you sure it doesn't? Are you sure it doesn't, Freedom DAO? Have you checked? Are you sure it doesn't? Let me know. It doesn't, he says. Or they say, I should say. Kyber. What is Kyber? TLS hybridized Kyber support. Firefox Kyber. I have to be careful about opening this stuff because I want to make sure I don't open up any security bugs for you to read, but I believe Kyber, and then the Zyber experiment. Yeah, Zyber 768. That's from 9 months ago. So we're like working on it. Here's a meta bug for Zyber 768 for post-quantum key exchange for TLS 1.3. Working on it, is that an excuse? You sound like you're not a serious person, Freedom DAO. I think I'm gonna ignore you. You don't sound like a serious person. I'm gonna move on. All right. So that is done. So let's try and export the content to the use the Sphinx.js stuff. So last time I did this Sphinx.js stuff, I think was for the backup module, and I think it was really, really early on. So let me see if I can find backup docs. So like when I first added this, step out the beginnings to the backup source docs. This is it. This is the diff. And the way I did this, you have to add a directory to docs/conf.py. And then we're going to add to this list of JS source path. And so there's a nice place right here in this alphabetically ordered list where I can put customizable UI. So that's the first part, and then you actually have to create a docs directory. So I don't think there is one. Customizable UI. Is there? No, there's no docs directory. So we're gonna make one. Whoop. And then I'm gonna put in an index. So attach components, customizable docs, index.rst, and let's open it up. Whoops, nope. Nope. Wrong one. And we're going to put in, actually, let's take a look at this example. So we can actually crib off of this a little bit. Customizable UI, we're gonna say customizable UI component. And we can explain a little bit what this thing does and what it's for. The customizable UI component is responsible for the customization for managing the customized state, the default and customized state of the built-in toolbars and customizable and other customizable surfaces. I should just say of customizable, managing the default and customized state of various surfaces within Firefox desktop. I should just say the browser for folks. It for the this at this time this includes surfaces like the nav bar, the navigation toolbar, the title bar, the tabs toolbar in horizontal mode. What else? The bookmarks toolbar, the overflow menu panel, the overflow panel. I think that's it. Those toolbars. Yeah, that's it. Oh, and the menu bar, sorry. The menu bar, where available on macOS and on Linux and Windows. Okay, so that's what I want to put into start. And then you can start doing sub-documents. And I think that's actually what I want to do, because like customizable UI is the name of the component folder, but there's actually other stuff in it. So there's customizable UI, then there's customizable widgets, customized mode. That's the thing that manages the mode for customizing the toolbars and whatnot. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have an index similar to the one for backup. And I'm going to call one of them customizable UI. And then we're going to create a new doc. UI.rst. And in that, we're actually going to put our component. You know what? That's actually where this should go. And I'm going to copy this. I'm going to say get rid of this part. I'll call this a customizable UI module because that's the part that's being documented here. And then we put in the magic part, which is the auto class. JS auto class. Customizable UI. Let's just see if that works. And in the index, we've got this. And I'm going to just add this browser component, because this is a module. This component is responsible for the customization for managing and manipulating customization state of various surfaces, various UI surfaces in the browser. The default and customized state. Yeah, and I know that that's fairly similar. Response for managing. This time, this includes this component. Most of the logic for doing this resides in customizable UI, but modules like customizable widgets, but some responsibility is also delegated to modules like customizable widgets and customize mode. Okay. Let's see what this generates when I do mock build and then mock doc. Okay, so I think we are missing a piece, which is that we need to add in moz.build. I think there was like an earlier patch in the series where you have to add a directive to the moz.build for the documentation. Yeah, this stuff. Okay. So customizable UI, moz.build. I'm gonna put that here. Sphinx trees equals docs. So let's see if that's better. And I'll do mock build actually instead. Mock build faster. Okay, so we got ourselves a build. Now we're going to do mock doc, and I'm going to pass in the customizable UI folder, and let's see if it builds the documentation. Come on, come on, come on. No documentation was found for object customizable UI. Okay, so what did get generated? What objects are in here? Like, we just modified a bunch of stuff that had documentation, like this stuff. And what module are we in? Customizable UI. So it doesn't know what I'm talking about? Thinking. Well, let's see if it's heard of overflowable toolbar, because that's also in here. Oh, you know what? It's gonna be complaining about this. Let me stop. Yeah. Okay, so it found that. That's broken. But okay, it is aware of the class, the overflowable toolbar class, and that all works. So we've got some documentation here. That's very nice. Now, where is... all right, I gotta disable the notifications. I'm getting lit up. Do not disturb. Okay. Why doesn't it know about the overflow, the customizable UI object? Now, is it because it's an object rather than a class? That is possible, in which case we can test that. We can say var customizable UI internal. Like, let's see what happens if I do export. I'm going to call it test thing. And then a function, test function. And it takes a single arg, which is something. And we'll do console log is something. And what's it complaining about? Unexpected keyword. Oh, right, test function, this is an object. Function something. And this is complaining because it expects a method shorthand, right? It expects that, and it doesn't like console log, but that's okay. And I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna say test 1 2 3 boolean is something. Okay, now let's see if we can get this to show up. What's it called? Test thing. You know what? I already know why it's going to complain. It doesn't. I'm using JS auto class, which is not a testing is not a class. So I need to check out Sphinx.js's documentation. So there's something called auto class. What else do you have? Auto function. Do you have auto attribute? So this is only going to work with classes. So maybe I want customizable UI to be a class. Because if I do class test thing, this is going to work, isn't it? No? Syntax error, no documentation. Test thing. Let's try it again. That's interesting. I don't know why that didn't work. No documentation for test thing or any path ending in that. There's a bunch of garbage in here. Enumerate list. There's a bunch of warnings and errors. This is all, look at this. It's looking inside of other components. That is unrelated, my dude. Close URL bar. Unrelated, unrelated, unrelated. Unrelated. This is all toolkit stuff. What are you complaining about? Move on, move on, move on. Okay, here we go. Does it need to be indented in some special way or, asks Smurf D. I don't think so. Like, I mean, does it need to be exported? Is that possible? That would seem very strange. Let's see. No, it doesn't. That's not that. Let's do this. let's also, this is my class called test thing. And it's complaining about this expected one line after block description. Oh, this. Yeah, okay. If is something, return is something. Fine, return false. Okay. So that works. And here's test thing. So how did I fix that just now? Was it because like, let's undo some of the stuff I just did. No, it's not that. And is it because I exported it? I got a feeling it's because I added this. So run again. Yeah. Okay. So let's see if adding a comment block above this actually makes it. This is customizable UI. That's a terrible comment, but let's see what happens if by doing that, can I influence? Is there a hidden feature within Sphinx.js such that it will recognize the object in that way? I doubt it. I'm gonna go ahead and doubt it. Like press X to doubt. But holy smokes, it launched. Okay, so it does understand it. This is customizable UI. Okay, now can I get the members and private members? Yeah. Okay. Now we're talking. Now we're in business, gang. Now we're in business. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this up here. And I'm going to write something way better. This is the publicly exposed interface to customizable UI. To the customizable UI internal. This is publicly exposed interface to customizable UI. It uses old school encapsulation by forwarding all method calls, most method calls, to customizable UI internal, which is not exported. Yeah, that is old. This is like a bunch of old school encapsulation. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and check and see how that looks. And if so, that's our first patch. And we can go ahead and commit that. Yeah, look at this. Woo! Good stuff. All of these. Yeah, it understands that these are all static methods. And then we've got the overflowable toolbar thing, which probably should get split out into its own document, actually. So I'm going to add a new document. Overflowable toolbar.rst. Overflowable toolbar. Okay. The overflowable toolbar class is used for toolbars that, upon shrinking in width, can overflow their contents into an overflow panel. In times past, in practice, this is really only the browser navigation bar, toolbar. Though in times past, it was possible to create multiple overflowable toolbars. Okay. And then we'll add that to our index. Let's go ahead and rebuild all that. Customizable UI. Yeah, overflowable toolbar. I think we can probably just do that. Make it easier to read. Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. All right, let's get this commit cleaned up and ready to go. And then we can think about how we can make this documentation actually better. Like we've reached, that was ultimately the goal, is to get us into a position where we can improve the documentation. All right, so the big bunch of changes here, and we also have to add the new docs folder. We're going to amend this commit. I think, did we, what were this, make pass the, oh. Make customizable UI, pass the valid JSDoc ESLint rule, and add initial documentation, initial source documentation. Yeah, there we go. So big change, big change. We can actually probably post this up for review right now. Did all of my type defing work? Let me just double check that. Customizable UI listener. Mock doc. Customizable UI. Add listener. So, like, it... Unfortunately, my type defs aren't showing up. But I think that's because we're running on an older version of Sphinx.js. And when we switch over to the newer Sphinx.js, we'll actually get that. We should get that for free, that it will expand the types, the custom types. But this is better than nothing. Okay, so let's go ahead and post this for review. Now, what was the initial description of this bug? Create docs for customizable UI. Update JSDoc support documentation, mention ESLint rollouts, enable that stuff, make fast initial rollout documentation, and then oh, I need to hook into this from the main index of the browser documentation. So at the root of browser, there's a docs and there's an index. I think like backup, for example, is in here. I'm gonna put storybook. There's really no rhyme or reason to some of this ordering. I'm gonna put customizable UI around here. Customizable UI docs index. And let's see what, let's make sure that that works. So this might take a little bit longer because I've got to build the entire tree's worth of docs, but I want to make sure that this, actually I don't have to build the entire tree, just browsers docs. And I want to make sure that that works properly. Hold up. Okay. Maybe I do actually have to build the whole thing. Building the full documentation tree. Did you mean to only build part of the documentation? No. Okay. Just take a little bit here. Come on. 47% building. Once this is done, I'm ready to push this up for review, and then we can start planning out how we can improve some of the documentation here. Well, we can even think about that now while we're waiting on this. So there are other modules that need documenting. Customize mode. I don't think this has any documentation, or like nothing that's exposed with JSDoc. There are things in customizable UI that still need to be documented. Customizable widgets, I don't think has documentation. So we need to add that. Drag position manager doesn't. Oh, it has some. We could maybe fix these up. Panel multi-view. This has a lot of documentation. This might be a good next target because this one's fairly important. It's used in a bunch of different places. Okay, so here's the entire built source docs. We're gonna look at Firefox front end, and lo and behold, customizable UI component is here, and that's what I wanted to see. Module, and then overflowable toolbar. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, let's go ahead and post those for review. Just so we can get some folks to look at it. Mozfab submit. Post initial set of documentation changes. And request review. All right, here goes. Uncommitted changes present. What did I not commit? Oh, there's. Oh, I actually had to. Okay. Did I not commit these? Browser components, customizable UI, browser docs index, docs conf. Amend. All right, let's try submitting that again. How are we doing on time here? We're doing okay. We're doing okay. I've got maybe 30 minutes, and then I should probably call it because of that meeting. The meetings will continue. The meetings will continue until morale improves. These are important meetings that I'm having. A lot of planning for 2025. We call this fall planning. Okay, so those are now up for review. Let's now try and get panel multi-view also cleaned up. That should be pretty straightforward. Like, look at this nice documentation here. Woo! Woo! else do we have in here? Connect, disconnect, open pop. So this is panel multi-view. This is associated to the panel multi-view elements. Class extends. And then we export var. Yeah, it's just a single class with some static methods on. Okay, got it. Got it. And then panel multi-view elements. Right, okay. Associated to node. I understand. Okay, so let's fix up some of these, this documentation. Name of the event dispatch, object, detail, then it's optional. Boolean, cancelable, true if the event can be canceled, and then Boolean, true if the event was canceled by an event handler, false otherwise. Okay, and what are you complaining about? Detail type object for object, lowercase o. Enjoying Git so far? That's a great question. I think it's fine. I miss some things from Mercurial. I think, for example, one of the things I often do is I have a stack of patches, kind of like what we have right here. I'll have like a stack of patches, and I'll want to, like, you know, apply some review feedback on an earlier patch. And there's this extension called Git Absorb, which is pretty good about finding the patches that I want to, like, fix up with the review feedback while maintaining the stack. But that was so much easier with Mercurial. And whenever Git Absorb can't do it, it is a real pain to rebate. Like, so what I do is I'll like, suppose I needed to, like, apply some review feedback to this first commit. Well, I have to check out this commit, amend it, and then check out this commit and rebase on top of this. And then I have to check out this commit and rebase it on top of the recently rebased commit that I just created from the prior rebase. At least that is the mechanism I've been using, and it's a real pain. It's also like the syntax is so annoying. It's like git rebase dash dash onto, then the name of the branch I want to rebase onto, and then the commit ID of the first commit, the one that I'm basically replacing, and then the name of the one that I'm trying to move. And it's just like, I've gotten used to it, but there's got to be a better way. So I basically, I think I need to get more techniques. I need to watch more people using Git so I can find some better ways of doing what I'm used to doing from Mercurial. What I feel like is how I felt like in the early days of Mercurial, where I'm like smashing rocks together and I've got like inefficient techniques and whatnot, and I need to learn the Git foo basically. So that's how I'm feeling. Okay, what is this complaining about? Invalid JSDoc preference, replace return with returns. Okay, no problem. What else? What else is broken in here? Note. It doesn't know what @note is. Yeah, I don't think JSDoc understands that, so I'll just do this. Okay. Param, string, event name of the custom event to dispatch. And then there's no such thing as resolves, returns promise Boolean. And it resolves to true. True if the event was canceled by handler, false otherwise. That should be string. Okay, what else have you been complaining about? Lint. Invalid JSDoc param animate type Boolean prefer Boolean, right? Boolean animate defaults to false. Panel node. The panel node has well, you know what? I'll bet you everywhere they're using DOM node, so I'll just do that. That's fine. I'll leave it the way it is. Fine. See the non-static hide pop-up method for details. See, I don't think that is proper usage of C. So I'm gonna do see the non-static hide pop-up method for details. So maybe I can do this. See non-static hide pop-up. This is, I think, going to be a problem because I think I've run into this before where like Sphinx.js doesn't know how to disambiguate between a static a static method name and a non-static method name. So I'm just going to not use @C for this. This is missing its argument. @param DOM node panel node removes the specified panel, the panel to remove. And you know what? I'm getting distracted, I think, by reading all of this stuff because I haven't read this stuff in a while. I'm actually going to remove what I just did. What I'm going to focus on is getting the JS doc stuff, the linting to pass. String the DOM node anchor the node to anchor the pop up to options, either options to use or a string position. This is for options. What kind of options? Where's options used? Options to pass to open pop-up. What does that take? Open pop-up. String or open pop-up options. Args, additional arguments to be forwarded to the pop-up method. So that's like anything. How do you do spread optional args in JSDoc? How do you do that? So let's do it this way. Param var args, where number is the type of arguments expected. Okay, so that's interesting. I learned that today. Args. Okay. It doesn't know what resolves is, so this is returns promise, and then resolves with a Boolean. False, the state of the panel at this point is not guaranteed. Okay. Resolves with true. Okay. Rejects with. What does it reject with? Rejects if an exception is thrown at any point in the process before the request to display the panel is sent. Where does it reject? Reject. Throw. A reject with exception. So Boolean exception. Rejects if an exception. Okay. That's neat. I didn't know about that. Today I learned. Note the value of animate. Param Boolean. False. View ID or no DOM element or string ID. So this is either a string or DOM node node or string ID of the panel view to display. Anchor is DOM node. I should probably replace all those with element. That's starting to bug me. Syntax error is type. Oh, sorry. That. That one should be returned. Oh, whoop. There we go. DOM node. Panel view. The panel view node that is currently displayed but is about to be transitioned away. This must be already inactive at this point. View node. And before it was a panel view. Okay. View node. The panel view. You know that will become the active view after the transition. Transition is finished. Param Boolean reverse. What? Whether we're navigating, oh, back to a previous view or forward to a next view. Interesting. Cool, 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 cool. Cool, cool, cool. Then we're down here. Just a couple down here. Param, Boolean, arrow key. True elements are only navigable with tab. Elements are only navigable with tab are excluded. Okay. Param, Boolean, home key. True. This is for the home key. True if the back button should be skipped. Okay. Boolean end key. True if this is for the end key. It's down. True if we're going down. False if going up. True if the selection is going down. False if going up. Param arrow key. True if this is for the up down arrow keys. Return DOM node. The element was selected and returns. Yeah. One last thing. Param. Oh, you're out of order. You're out of order. This whole city's out of order. True if focus was moved by the user pressing a key. Needed to ensure we show focus styles in the right cases. Okay. So that's all of the JS doc errors in here. So what we can do now is add another section in here. Panel multi-view. We're going to add a new doc called panel multiview.rst. Similar to overflowable toolbar, panel multi-view. Now, how do I describe what this thing is all about? I actually think there's a pretty decent description for it. In here. I wish we could somehow yank this out. Well, let's see what it looks like whenever I build the documentation. Mock docs, browser components, customizable UI. Fatal warnings. Any reference target not found. The non-static open pop-up method for details. On line 265. What? 499 maybe? Whoa. 499. Oh, this. Yeah, this is another example. See. Yeah, let's try that. Okay. Whoa, where are we here? Where are we? Front end panel multi-view. Very good. Very good. That's what I wanted. I'd love it if we could, like, somehow get this out. How do I maybe there's some documentation that would let me do that. Let's quickly read the documentation. When you write a JavaScript library, how do you explain it to people? Okay. I need the directives. Auto class, auto function. Bing bong. Okay. Dodging ambiguity with path names. Saving keystrokes by setting the primary domain. Okay. That's TypeScript stuff. To understand the inline JS doc constructs like link foo, you have to use Sphinx.js. Sphinx style equivalents for now, like JS func foo or simply func foo. Okay. Understand and convert the JS doc block tags, param, returns, throws, example, without the optional caption, deprecated C and their synonyms. Okay. Well, it was last patched in 2023. Okay. Maybe there's some stuff that's not documented. Templates. Attribute class common. Nope. These are just templates for how... Okay, I see. What happens? What happens if I move this into panel multi-view here? What does that look like? Oof. That's fully busted. How do I do like pre-formatted text. Pre-formatting. An example to include chunk format never to be filled with text. Finish the prior paragraph with colon. Pre-format block is finished when the text falls back to the same indentation level as the paragraph prior to the pre-format block. Oh, okay. How's that? Will that do it? Okay. You know what? I'm tempted to just do this and move the documentation out. Associated to node. There we go. I like it. I'm tempted to do this. Okay. And then I have to add docs, panel multi-view. Make panel multi-view.sys.js pass the valid JS doc ESLint rule and add source initial source documentation. I'm gonna have that Heiss review this one, or maybe no, I'll have Sam review it. Okay. How's our time? I've got 5 minutes here before I have to prep for my meeting. What else do I want to do? Toolbar context menu is pretty short. Search widget tracker doesn't have any. Drag position manager. So next week we might want to start adding some new documentation. Maybe going through customizable UI and panel multi-view and fleshing out documentation that's missing. And then maybe we can start documenting some of these other modules because they don't have like any. Like look at this. There's very little in here. And so we need to start adding documentation for that. I think I'm going to stop there then. Let me post this last patch up for review. I'll also mock lint. Make sure our linting is happy with it. And then I'll post this last patch up for review as well. And then we'll call it a day. And I think I should be able to stream next week. Let me double check that I'm not going to get bogged down with another meeting. Yeah, I think I should be okay. Fingers crossed. All right, let's post this up for review. Mozfab submit. Uncommitted changes. What? I didn't commit these? All right. That's another thing I do not enjoy about Git is the staging. Didn't I? So what's in this? Just that, okay. Makes more sense. Okay, log and post for review. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. Oasis is on tour again. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Okay. Well, thanks so much for watching episode 379 of The Joy of Coding. I hope that was all right. I hope I realize documenting stuff is not, it's not the most thrilling, but we actually solved some problems. Like there was a neat problem that we ran into where, like, for some reason customizable UI wasn't showing up, and we were able to quickly debug what was going on, that we needed to add like a doc string before the class definition, the object definition, and you know that prevents Sphinx.js from just kind of like swallowing it silently into the ether. Yeah, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna try and improve this documentation. This is righteous stuff. It's gonna help out, I think, for new and old contributors who might need to eventually touch the customizable UI stuff, because check the last episode if you're curious about why I'm focusing on this stuff right now. Or at least I'm focusing on it during the stream. I'm not touching it between streams. This felt like a good project for the stream. All right, well, thanks again for watching. Let me know what you thought of the stream. There's a rate this episode form here in the notes. I'll just add, I'll drop the link into the chat here. Form to rate this episode. Go ahead and follow that form. Fill it out. It's pretty fast. Also, if you have a question for me that you'd like me to try to answer on the stream, go ahead and fill out that form and include a question. I'll do my best to try and answer it on stream if I know the answers. I don't have all the answers, everybody. Guess what? Newsflash. Boop 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 boop. I don't have all the answers, but you can try me anyways. So that's it. Thanks again for watching. Have yourselves a great week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.